Namo Buddhaya. Welcome everyone to another video. Today, let's talk about how can we apply the meditation to a busy life. Now, I know most of you have a very busy life and you have a tight schedule, okay? Now, but in the same time, you want to meditate. So that's where you find the problem, right? You have a busy life and you're worried about it. You have a distracted mind, and we all get distracted when we have a busy life, but we all need to meditate. But there's a problem. What is that? How can we apply the meditation to this busy schedule? Right? It is very difficult. So many people complain to us that I cannot meditate because I'm very busy. I have a lot of things to be done. I have a lot of responsibilities. How can I deal with it? Well, this depends on how you look at the meditation, right? Now, when we imagine the word meditation, what is the picture that we imagine? We imagine a person sitting in a quiet and a comfortable place, and he's closing his eyes with his legs crossed, right? And he's doing meditation, okay? But meditation is not only that sitting meditation. It is also a part of meditation, but it is not the meditation, okay? Meditation is more easy and more practical than you think. So today I'm going to introduce you to a little practice that you can practice in your busy schedule while you're having a lot of responsibilities and while you're being busy, and you can do this meditation. This is all about mindfulness. Now, should we sit in a quiet place to be mindful? No, okay? To be mindful, you can be in whatever posture, do whatever you want to do, and you can still be mindful. That is the beauty of this practice, the mindful practice, okay? Now, let's say you're having a busy schedule and you don't have the time to sit and meditate. So, what we have to do is we can choose something that we do daily, right? Let's say almost every one of you have 2 meals per day, at least 2 meals per day. Okay, let's take breakfast. Let's say you're having your breakfast. Okay, normally in an average day, what do you do when you're having breakfast? Sometimes you read a newspaper. Sometimes you watch TV. Sometimes you scroll through social media. Sometimes you use the mobile. Sometimes you call to some friends. Okay, instead of doing all those things, okay, instead of distracting yourself while eating, while having your breakfast, why can't you be mindful about having the breakfast, about the action of eating? Okay, so that is the beauty of mindfulness. Mindfulness can be applied to every action in our daily life. No matter where we do it, no matter what we do it, no matter when we do it, we can apply mindfulness to our daily life. So let's say you're having a breakfast, okay? Just set aside all the distractions, your TV, maybe your mobile phone, your newspaper. You just focus on the taste. Okay, if you're eating from your hand, or if you're eating from your spoon or a fork, it doesn't matter. You just feel the taste. When you place the food inside your mouth, you start to feel this taste. What we can do is just bring our mind to that sensation, to what we feel. Okay, and do this from one by one. Okay, one step at a time. Let's say you took one bite at a time and you become mindful about it. You feel the taste, okay? Because most of the time, when we are eating, we are not aware of this taste, right? Our mind runs here and there, runs and catch into one and other thoughts, and it becomes distracted. So what we can do is, we can bring our mind back to this taste and this sensation that we feel in the present moment. When you eat, you feel the taste in the present moment. Once you feel it, once you identify it, and once you focus your mind to it, that is what you call mindfulness. That is what you call meditation. Okay? So this is a simple practice. Every day, choose one meal, maybe lunch, maybe dinner, maybe breakfast. Choose one meal and focus on just eating. Okay, eat while you eat. Don't use the mobile phone while you eat. Don't watch TV while you eat. Don't use other distractions while you're eating, because when we distract ourselves, right, we miss a chance to practice the meditation in a daily life. One day, one lady came up to me, and when we were discussing, I asked from her, do you meditate? Then she said, no, I don't have time to meditate. Then I introduced this little practice of mindful eating to her. Then you cannot complain that you don't have time to meditate. Remember, meditation is everywhere. You can do it whenever you want, wherever you want. Okay? So add this little practice of mindful eating to your life, and then you don't have to worry about not having the time to meditate, because being mindful is meditation. Just keep that in your mind. Namo Buddhaya. Have you ever wondered why some people are so good and so clever in what they're doing? Maybe there are some people who are studying with you, maybe some people who are in your workspace. There are some people who are very clever and very capable of doing in their profession. Okay, they are very successful in it. What is the reason behind this? What is the reason behind this success? Well, if we can define success in one word, the only word that we can find is consistency. This quality is very important for all of our lives. Not only in your day-to-day life, not only in your career, but also in your spiritual path. Okay? If someone is practicing spiritual path, consistency is the key for success. Okay? Now, what do you mean by consistency? Consistency means doing something every single day or without stopping for a long period of time until you get better at it. Now, if we look at our life, there are some bad habits we all have in our life. Okay? Why we are so good at these bad things? The reason behind why we are so good at bad things is we have done it for a long period of time, every single day, without stopping. That is the nature of our mind, and that is the nature of our life. Whether it is good or bad, if we are doing it consistently, or if we are doing it over and over for a long period of time, we get so good at it. That is why we are so good at distractions. That is why we are so good at anger, jealousy, and all these evil thoughts in our mind, because we have practiced it over a long period of time. Now, Buddha said, if you need to cultivate wholesome thoughts, and if you need to do, and if you need to be successful in your spiritual life, what are you going to do? You have to cultivate and you have to practice these wholesome thoughts or wholesome activities for a long period of time without stopping. Okay, every single day. Okay, let's keep the spiritual life for a part. Let's take the studying and education. Now, if you're someone who is studying and if you're someone who is focused on education, what do you have to do? You have to keep studying. Okay, sometimes you find very difficult and very challenging to keep studying. Why? Because our mind gets distracted. Okay, sometimes we lose our focus. Now, in that time, so many of people, they complain that I cannot study. Okay, I'm distracting always. What is the reason? Why? What is the problem with me? Well, the only problem behind the failure or this unsuccessfulness is lack of consistency. Sometimes we try to study and then we feel tired and we feel less focused, and then we give up. Okay, and then after maybe like 2-3 days, again we try to study, and then again the same thing happen, and then we give up. Okay, in that way you're not going to be successful. Okay, if you want to be successful in any field of your life, maybe studying, maybe in your meditations, maybe in your spiritual life, maybe in kindness, maybe cultivating compassion in your life, what do you have to do? You have to be consistent. That is the only way to be successful in anything. I can still remember when we came to become monks, okay, on the first day, our monks gave this first advice to us. That is, they said that it takes several minutes to become a monk physically, okay? It takes a few minutes to make your body a monk, but it takes years and years, maybe lifetime, to be a monk from your mind. You will fail, you will be unsuccessful in some parts in your life, but you have to keep going. Do not ever quit. That is the first advice that we were given. So, to be good at anything, to be successful, to be happy, to be successful in your spiritual life, to practice meditations, to be good at that, what are you going to do? Keep doing it every single day. That is the thing. But there's a problem. The real problem, or the real enemy for the consistency, is the higher expectations. We set a lot of high expectations in our life, and when we are not able to get it, we give up. That is the only thing. Now, so many people come to me and complain that I cannot meditate for 1 hour. What is the problem with me? I cannot focus for 1 hour. Well, in the beginning, no one can do that. Okay, there may be some few lucky people in this world. Okay, they can concentrate instantly. But if you want to be good at in your meditations, in your focusing and your concentration power, what do you want to do? Keep doing it. Okay, do not set high expectations. Right? Aim for the little achievements. Maybe like you can focus and you can think, like before you are starting meditation, you can think, well, if my mind became concentrated or well focused only for 1 minute, that's okay. I'm happy with that 1 minute. Okay? When you focus on that, you can easily achieve it. You can do that. When you achieve it, you feel a sense of happiness in your life. You feel like you achieved that target. So in the next day, when you meditate, maybe you can focus your mind, or you can concentrate your mind for 2 minutes. Okay? So if you keep on focusing on little achievements and without having high expectations in your life in the first time, then you will be good at maintaining your consistency. Because sometimes when we don't see results, okay, when we don't get results quickly as we want, we just give up. That is the biggest problem in our minds. Okay, to be successful, you need to spend a period of time that you are not seeing the results. Okay, one day I was climbing, and in Sri Lanka we have a nice mountain where we climb to see the Buddha's footprint. Okay, that is called Adam's Peak, or the Sri Pada in Sri Lanka. So once we were climbing, we could not see the mountain top. We don't know where we are going. Okay, so one monk said to me, it doesn't matter, you cannot see where you are going, but if you're clear in your next step, take that step. Okay, and if you're in the correct path, no matter how fast or slow you go, you will go to your destination that you want to go. So always remember that it doesn't matter how fast or how slow you are moving towards success. The most important thing is that whether you're going to do it every single day in the correct way or not. So remember, consistency is the key for success for anything. So keep doing what you're doing, right? Keep doing the good works that you're doing, even if you don't see the results in your life. Keep doing it, and one day I'm very sure that you will achieve your goals definitely. So keep that in your mind. May you be happy and well. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to another video. Today, I'm going to introduce you to this basic and simple Buddhist practice. And this practice is known as Sila. Now, the word Sila is a Pali word that we can translate it to English as ethical conduct or virtue. Now, in Buddhism, the Buddha's teachings are always directed to the liberation of mind, or it is the ultimate goal of Buddhism, the liberation of mind from all the sufferings. To achieve this state, Buddha taught us that you should practice 3 practices. First one is sila, which we are going to discuss today. It is called the ethical conduct. Second one is samadhi. Samadhi means concentration. And the third one is panya, or it is known as wisdom in Buddhism. So sila plays a crucial role in Buddhism and Buddhist practice. So what do you mean by ethical conduct? Ethical conduct helps you to be disciplined from your body and from your words. Okay? So once you become disciplined from your body and from your words, then normally your mind will be disciplined. So these are coexisting. Okay? That means these practices help each other. Okay? Once you become disciplined with your mind, you can be disciplined from your body and from your words. Or if you become disciplined from your body and words, normally, automatically it happens that your mind will be disciplined. So that is why the Buddha introduced us these ethical conducts or practice of virtues in Buddhism. Now, basically, Buddha taught us that we need to practice 5 precepts. Okay, these are 5 guidelines that Buddha taught us to practice in daily life. Now, for someone, you may feel like they are a set of rules, but in reality, Buddha never imposed rules on anyone. Okay, these are guidelines, and these are the things that Buddha teaches us to practice because Buddha saw that there are disadvantages if you break these guidelines. For an example, the first practice of sila is to abstain from killing beings. Okay, so when you kill animals, there are so many disadvantages that comes to your life, and also you acquire a bad karma because your actions and your intentions are unwholesome. Once you kill animals, kill living beings, your intentions are unwholesome. So through unwholesome intentions and actions, what will happen? You will gain bad karma, and that bad karma will lead to suffering in one's life. And that is why Buddha said there are disadvantages and there are bad consequences when you do these things. Okay, when you kill animals, when you steal, there are disadvantages that comes to your life. So as beings who likes to be happy in your life, okay, in your personal life, if you like happiness, then stay away from these bad deeds or unwholesome deeds. So abstaining from these unwholesome deeds is known as precepts in Buddhism, or sila, or virtue in Buddhism. Okay, so there are mainly 5 precepts that we all need to practice. The first one is abstaining from killing beings, staying away from harming anyone's life. Okay, first one. The second practice is abstaining from stealing, abstaining from taking anyone's possessions without permission, okay, without asking. That is an unwholesome deed, and that has many bad consequences. Okay, people have to suffer if they do that. Second one is, Buddha said, abstain or stay away from sexual misconduct. Okay, because when you engage in sexual misconduct, that leads to many bad consequences in your relationships. Okay, so Buddha said, stay away from sexual misconduct. Third one is abstain from or stay away from lying. Okay, when you lie, you break the trust of people. Once you break the trust, there are many problems in your life. Okay, there will be many problems in your life. So Buddha said that stay away from lying. And as the final precept, Buddha said that stay away from intoxicating yourself. Stay away from using drugs and other intoxicants. Okay, because that leads to a lot of sufferings in your life. So these are the main and basic Buddhist practice, or sila, or precepts, that all the Buddhists practice in all around the world. Okay, so basically these precepts or these virtues helps you to develop a better life and a happy life without regrets. Once monk Ananda asked from the Buddha, what is the purpose of practicing ethical conduct? Then the Buddha said, You should practice ethical conduct to stay away from regret and remorse in your life. Now, if you look at these things, if you look at these 5 precepts, killing, abstaining from stealing, abstaining from sexual misconduct, abstaining from telling lies, abstaining from using intoxicants, if you do these things, what will happen? At the end of this deed, there will be nothing but the regret. Okay, you end up regretting yourself, like, why did I do that? Okay, so Buddha said that that is one of the major harms to your life, to your spiritual life, for someone who is engaged and for someone who is seeking the peacefulness in your life. So Buddha said, practice a virtuous life and a clean and a pure life to be happy inside. Once you know that you are happy and you're clean and pure in your mind, in your character, then it will give you a big happiness to your life. So that is why we need to practice these virtues. Okay, that is the purpose of Sila. So understand this simple Buddhist practice and try to practice these precepts in your life. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to another video. Today, I'm going to answer a question from the comment section. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I came across this comment asking, how can we make correct decisions in our life? How can we make correct choices in our life? Well, to learn about this, let's take a look at a sutta from the Buddha's teachings. Okay, there's a sutta named Ambalattika Rahulovada Sutta. In that sutta, Buddha advises monk Rahula. Buddha asks from monk Rahula, Rahula, what do you think about this? What is the purpose of the mirror? Then monk Rahula says, the purpose of the mirror is to check our reflection, sir. Then the Buddha says, same like that, whenever you are going to do anything from your body, from your mind, from your words, you have to do it after repeatedly checking on it. Okay, you have to be mindful and you have to think about it, you have to check it, and then after that you have to do it. Then in that sutta, Buddha further explains how to repeatedly check our actions. Buddha says, whenever you are going to do anything from your body, let's say you are going to do something from your body, okay, then you have to think like this. Buddha says, is this deed that I'm going to do now hurts myself? Is it going to hurt myself? Or is it going to hurt others, other people around me? And the Buddha says, you have to think that is it going to hurt both of us, for me and for the others? Okay? And then the Buddha says that you have to think that is it a skillful thing or a good thing or a wholesome thing or an unwholesome thing? Does it give happiness to my life? Does it bring happiness and mental serenity and calmness to my life? Then the Buddha says that if you find that action that you're going to do is unskillful and it hurts for yourself and to the others, and it is unskillful and it brings suffering to your life, then you should, by all means, you should not do it. Okay? So that is a bad choice. That means that you are going to make a bad choice. Okay? Then the Buddha says, if you find the action that you are going to perform in your life, okay, if you are going to perform an action which is good, which brings the happiness to your life, which makes the happiness and which benefits for you and for the others and both of you, if it is skillful, then by all means you have to do it. Now, what does Buddha means in this advice? Buddha says that means you have to, before you are going to do anything from your body, from your mind, from your words, you have to be mindful. You have to think, what am I going to do now? Right? Is it good or bad? Is it wholesome or unwholesome? You have to think about the consequences of your choices. If you're aware of the consequences of your choices, then you will make good choices. Okay? Most of the time, the reason why we are making bad decisions and bad choices is we are not aware of the consequences of that action. And we are not mindful about what we are doing now. So, in your life, before taking any decision, just pause, take a rest, and pause and think, hey, what I'm going to do now, is it beneficial for myself? And is it beneficial for others? Okay? And does it hurt myself? Does it hurt others? Okay? When you think about that, you can make correct decisions. Okay? And you have to be brave enough to choose the harder path, difficult path, because making correct decisions and doing good things is not an easy task. It is always difficult. Although it is difficult, if you practice it, if you constantly do it, no matter what happens, you can bring the happiness to your life. So the best thing to do to make correct decision is to pause first, okay, and think about it, repeatedly check on it, and be mindful and consider whether it is going to be beneficial for my life or to the others, and then make correct decisions. That is how we make good choices and correct decisions in our life. So that is what I have to share in this video. So I wish you all, may all of you be happy and safe forever. Namo Buddhaya. A lot of you have been asking from me for a long period of time this question, that I am new to Buddhism and I want to know more. Please recommend me some books to read. Well, today I'm going to be recommending you 5 books that you must read as a beginner to Buddhism. Now, I have categorized these 5 books into 3 groups. The first group is the books that will give you a good understanding about the Buddha's life story. The second group is the books that will give you a good understanding about the core and fundamental Buddhist principles. And the third one is the books that will give you a good understanding about how to practice Buddhism in our daily life. It's something like a practical guide in your daily life. So without any further ado, let's dive into these books. First off, we have The Buddha and His Teachings by Narada Mahathera. Now, if you are interested in learning the Buddha's life story, this is one of the best books that you can read. The first half of this book is entirely dedicated in explaining about the Buddha's life story and about the key moments of the Buddha's life story. Now, having a good understanding about the life of the Buddha is very important when you learn Buddhism, because there are some things, and it is something like you're having a good foundation to your knowledge. So in this book, in the first half, you can learn the key moments of the Buddha's life story. And the second half is entirely dedicated in explaining about the main Buddhist concepts like karma and rebirth and enlightenment and etc. So as a beginner, you should read this book, and this is one of the best books that you can start reading as a beginner to Buddhism. Next up, we have one of my personal favorite books, and that is Buddha, the Marvelous Sage by my teacher, Venerable Kiribati Jnanananda Mahathera. He was the monk who took me under his wings and taught me Dhamma and gave me this precious gift of Dhamma. Now, this book is very special because it flows like a river. Now, when you read this book, it is also about the Buddha's life story and also some of the teachings of the Buddha. It flows like a river. It is very difficult to put down this book, right? If you are fascinated and if you like to learn more about Buddha's life story, this is one of the best books that you can read. And also it has some explanations about the Buddha's early lives, how the Buddha practiced and how the Buddha practiced some good qualities to attain the Buddhahood. So if you're interested in learning about the Buddha's life story in detail, this is one of the best books that you can read, Buddha, the Marvelous Sage. As the third book, I have one of the most famous books that have ever written by an author about Buddhism, and that is none other than what the Buddha taught by Venerable Valpola Rahula Mahathera. Now, if you're interested in learning about the core Buddhism and main Buddhist fundamentals, right, and Buddhist concepts, this is the best book that you can read and you have to read. In this book, it explains about Four Noble Truths, Noble Eightfold Path, enlightenment, and some concepts like anatta. And there are so many profound and very clear explanations about Buddhist concepts in this book. So this book falls under the category of the books that will give you a good understanding about the core Buddhism and Buddhist principles. Moving on to the fourth book, I have Mindfulness in Plain English by Bhante Gunaratana. I don't want to explain much about this book because the title tells everything. Mindfulness in Plain English. Now, if you are interested in learning about the mindfulness and Buddhist way of mindfulness, how to practice the mindfulness in your daily life, this is the best books, and this is one of the best books that you can read. It is in simple English that everyone can understand. Now, I have seen all over the Bhante Gunaratana's works that every book that he writes is very simple to understand, and it is very applicable for our life. So you have a good understanding about the mindfulness and the meditation. So if you are interested in learning about the mindfulness and how to practice and how to apply the mindfulness to my life, this is the best book that you can read, Mindfulness in Plain English. As the fifth book and the final book, I have the most famous Buddhist book in the entire world, and that is none other than Dhammapada. Now, I have done an entire video about Dhammapada. If you want to watch it, you can watch it right here. Now, Dhammapada is a set of verses that was spoken by the Buddha himself. Now, these are the pure and the direct words from the Buddha himself. So, if you want to learn about the Buddha's way of life and Buddhist weave, this is one of the best books that you can read. And also, this is known as the handbook of Buddhists. Now, I have heard that a lot of our Hindu friends say that when you have a trouble in life and you are going through a tough time in life, take Bhagavad Gita and read, and you will find some answers. I would recommend for every one of you, read Dhammapada too, right? If you turn into a random page, you will find something that is very worthy and very valuable in this book, right? Now, this is very easy to read because it has the poem-like structure, okay? It has very small poem-like structures, verses, so it is very easy to read and it is very easy to understand. There are a lot of translations of Dhammapada, so I would recommend the translation that is done by Venerable Acharya Buddharakkhita, also known as Bhadabhante Ji. His translation is one of the best translations that you can find. So if you can find this book, then please read it and learn from it. Dhammapada is one of the major books that you have to read as a beginner to Buddhism. So here we are. These are the 5 books that you must read if you are new to Buddhism and if you want to know more about Buddhism. So all the links to each and every book I have mentioned down in the description box, and some of them have free PDFs, so you can read and you have to learn Buddhism like that. I want to say that you don't want to be a Buddhist to just read these books. Everyone can read and everyone can learn from Buddhism because Buddhism is open to everyone. You can be a Muslim, you can be a Christian person, you can be a Hindu person, no matter what religion you are from, no matter what nationality you have, you can learn Buddhism, and Buddhism is open to everyone. So learn Buddhism and make your life happy. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to another video. In today's video, I'm going to share a wonderful story with you. Now, in the Buddha's time, there was one monk whose name was Vakali, and he had this little habit of visiting the Buddha and looking at his face all the time. Okay, while the Buddha was teaching all the sermons, he was looking at his face. Okay, he was not paying attention to his teachings. Now, Buddha noticed this, And then the Buddha asked, Vakali, what are you doing? Then this monk said, Oh, Venerable Sir, I'm looking at your face, and beautiful and serene face. When I look at your serenity, when I look at your beautiful face, I feel so much better. I feel so much happy and peaceful in my mind. Then the Buddha said, Oh, Vakali, what is the purpose of looking at a body that is decaying? A body that is filled with so many disgusting things. Vakali, remember this. If you want to see the real Buddha, you have to see it through my teachings. The Buddha said, the one who sees Dhamma, his teachings, sees the real Buddha. Now, this advice shows us that if we want to see the real Buddha, what we have to do? We have to see it through his teachings. Okay? That means we have to apply his teachings to our life. His kindness, his compassion, his generosity, his patience, all those qualities to our life. When we apply these qualities and when we practice the Buddha's advices in our life practically, we can see the real Buddha and we can understand who the Buddha is. Okay, so that is why in Buddhism, a huge focus, a major priority is given to practice. In each and every discourse and in each and every advice in the Buddha says, practice this. Apply it to your life. Apply it to your practical life and see how you can do it in your daily life. Okay, that is why in Buddhism, every teaching, every practice, and every advice is applicable to our practical life. When Buddha says to practice love and kindness, he does not come up with only just idea of loving kindness. He teaches us how to practice it. Okay, how you can practice in the times of adversities. When he teaches about the compassion, he teaches us how to practice this in your daily life. So, if you want to see the real Buddha, then what you have to do? You have to see it from yourself. Okay, apply the Buddha's teachings to your life, and then we can identify who the Buddha was and his qualities. It is same like you are identifying your parents. Okay, now if you see a picture of your parent, maybe like your mother or father, if you see your father or mother's picture, then you identify, this is my mother and this is my father, not only through the picture, but also through his qualities, okay, through their qualities, through the help and the care that they have given to our life. So in the same way, we have to identify the Buddha and we have to see the Buddha through his teachings, through practicing those teachings in our practical life. So here's the answer for this question. If you want to see the real Buddha, you got to practice the Buddha's teachings. So keep that in your mind. Namo Buddhaya. One of the most frequent questions that I get asked from people is that people say that I fall in love with this person and I get too much attached to him or her, and it hurts both of us, right? It hurts me and to the other person. How can I love someone without getting attached to that person? That is one of the frequent questions that people ask from me. Well, to understand about this, first of all, you need to understand what is the difference between love and attachment. I'll tell you the difference. If you're in love with someone, if you fall in love with someone, this means the pure love, the love, I would say. You say that I need you to be happy. Okay, that's what you say. I need you to be happy. If that happiness includes me, that's much better. If it does not include me, it's okay. Anyway, I need you to be happy in your life. That is love. And in attachment, you say, you need to make me happy. Okay? If they are not able to make you happy, then what do you say? Why aren't you making me happy? Okay, the love you give to me and the things that you do to me is not enough. That's what you say. That is called attachment. Okay? So did you see the difference? That means in love, you think about other people's happiness. Okay? As a result of thinking other people's happiness or wishing other people's happiness, you get the same thing back. Okay? But in an attachment, you wish your own happiness. Only that. You become, it's a form of selfishness. Okay? So this is the difference between love and attachment. So how attachment happens? Here's how it happens. You see this person and you think like, oh, he or she is perfect for me. He's the best thing for me. And I want to be with that person forever. I need to be with him or her forever. I know I don't want to let that person go off my life. Okay? I don't want let that person to leave my life. I need to be with that person. In that case, you hold on to that person tightly. Okay? You grab that person and you don't want to let go of that person. Then what you do in the next step, you try to protect him or her. Okay? Sometimes you overprotect him or her. So some people, they put restrictions. Okay, you should not use social media. You should not go and talk with other people, right? You should not come out of house. Remember, the more you try to hold on to someone's life, okay, and the more you try to control someone's life, chances are very, very high for you to lose that person. Because if you dive into the Buddhist teachings, okay, when you dive in deep into Buddha's teachings, Buddha says that you live in your own private world as well as others. Okay? Same like you, other people are also living in their private world. You create your own private world. You create your own happiness. You create your own sadness. And everything that you create is created by yourself. Okay? Your world is created by yourself. So it goes same with others. Okay? They are living in their private world. Okay? Same as you like to be happy and same as you like to be free, those people around you likes to be happy and free. Okay? So what happens when you try to put restrictions on someone? What happens is they don't like it. Okay? No one likes to be totally under control of someone. Okay? They need to have some sort of freedom in their life. So chances are very high for you to lose that person if you try to protect and overprotect and hold on to it and hold on to that person. And you think like, I need to be with that person. And what happens next is you become afraid of losing that person. You think, what if this guy or this person leave me? Okay? What will happen to me? Okay? My whole world will be a disaster. Okay? Remember, the reality of life is no one in this world is permanent. Okay? Everyone, everything, every experience in this life is subjected to change. That is the reality of life. So that is how attachment happens. But in love, you come to the reality. Okay? When you love someone correctly and purely without too much attachment, you come to this reality, to this real world. You know that these people around me are not going to live forever with me. It's not going to happen. Now, one of the things that Buddha advised us to remember every time, every single day, and every single time it is possible to remember, Buddha said, remember that everyone around you, okay, every person who loves you and who you love is going to leave you. Okay, you have to be separated from these people. I know it is painful. It is difficult to think because we love people, okay? We're afraid of losing them. But one day, in one way or another, okay, and sooner or later, this will happen. At least at the death, it will happen. So we have to leave these people around us. Okay, we are not going to live forever. So when you realize that is the reality, okay? When you realize that, you come to the reality and think, okay, I have a very, very little time with these people. Actually, the life is short. Okay, if nothing happened to us, we will live only for maybe like 85 years. Who knows? Okay, so life is very short. Then you know that I'm not going to live with this person forever. So what do? You show your love, affection, kindness, and compassion to this person in the best way that you can in this little time, because you know that you have a very little time. Okay, so to love someone, you need to understand the reality of life. What is the reality of life? Everything is subjected to change. Okay, everything is ever changing. That is called anicca in Buddhism. Okay, it is not permanent, it is impermanent. The second thing is that everyone in their own world is suffering. Okay, we suffer in our own private worlds, right? So we have our own private and personal sufferings, same like that others also are suffering in their life. Okay, so if we expect that other people to fulfill all the needs and all the requirements 100% in our life, that's not going to happen. Realize it, okay? Because everyone personally is going through suffering. Understand about this. That is called dukkha. And the third one is that no one in this world is totally under your control. You cannot control people around you totally. Okay, that is called anatta. You're out of control of this world. Okay, the problem is we worry about the people that we cannot control. Okay, can you control people's behavior? No, you cannot do that. Can you control how people behave and how people treat you, how people talk to you, how people think about you? No, that is their own business. Okay, so what you can control is how you live in your life, the way you live in your personal life. That is totally under your control. So understand these three things. What is that? Everything is subjected to change. Everyone is suffering in their own worlds, and not everyone in this world is totally under your control. This is called the truth in this life. This is called the reality in this life. Once you understand this, you know and you will learn how to be compassionate on people. Okay? How to love people. And then you can wish, no matter what happens to you, if you stay with me or if you did not stay with me, it's okay. I wish the good of you. I wish the happiness of you. Okay? Then that love will never hurt you. Okay? But attachment, when you get too much attached to people, it will definitely hurt you. So wish the good for everyone, wish the happiness on everyone, and then you will find the peaceness that you're seeking for in your life. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Welcome to another video. In today's video, we are going to discuss about another good quality that we all need to practice in our life, but we often forget this to practice. Now, what is this? It is called mudita. In another word, it is called appreciative joyfulness. What do you mean by this mudita? Mudita is the ability of being happy when you see someone else's happiness. For an example, let's say you're on social media and in the same time you're having a bad day. Now, when you scroll down, you see these nice pictures of people enjoying their life, living the best days in their life, being happy, and you're not having that life currently. In that case, what do you feel? The first thing that we feel is we feel down about ourselves. We think like, my life is terrible. My life is worse. Okay? And in the next step is, for some people, they feel a little bit of angry about those people. And that is called envy. Okay? So the Buddha teaches us to practice mudita to avoid jealousy in your mind or avoid envy in your mind. Okay? So how to do that? This is a very simple practice, but to get used to it is very, very difficult, because for a long time, for a long period of time, we have practiced this envy in our mind. Okay? You know, the nature of mind is the more we practice something for a long time, it gets normal. Okay? It gets easier. That is why we are so good at these evil things like, you know, being angry, okay, being jealous, being distracted, okay, and being envious on others. That is why we are so good at those things. The Buddha teaches us to practice as a daily practice this practice of mudita, being happy on other people's happiness. Okay? Let's say now you're seeing someone who is better than you, okay, more successful than you, more pretty than you, more clever than you. Let's say you're seeing someone like that. The first thing that you have to do is you have to wish the well-being of them, right? Think like, may they be successful even more. May they be happy even more in their life. You have to wish this from the bottom of your heart. You have to mean it and you have to feel it. Okay? When you do that, you feel happy. Okay? You don't feel the discomfort of envy. And also, in the same time, when you generate these mudita, thoughts of mudita, you generate a huge power in your mind to heal your mind and to be successful in your personal life. Okay, that is the power of mudita. Being jealousy, being envy on someone's life will never help you to be successful. Okay, will never get you anywhere. One of the things that my teacher has taught me in my life is that don't be jealousy on someone's life, because jealousy will never help you to be successful. Okay? Jealousy will never help you to thrive and be more productive. And it will keep you in the same place, okay? Without being successful, keep you in the same place, and it lets you to be angry on other people. So what we have to do, whenever we see some people who are better than us, we have to think that may they be better than us even more. Okay, may they be happy in their life even more. And that is called mudita. Okay, you can do, and you can start this practice from the people who are around you. Okay, there are people around you in your home, in your family. Start from them. Okay, wish the well-being of people around you. Okay, wish the well-being of your neighbors, your people who are in your city, your classroom, your school, your country. Okay, if you can spread those thoughts of mudita, you try and say this, you will feel much better in your heart. Okay, even when you feel down, and even when you are in your bad days in your life, you can be happy about your life because you are not comparing your life to other people. The reason why we feel jealousy and envy in our mind is we are constantly comparing our life to other people's life. We are so good at that. The more we compare our life to other people's life, the more we feel down about our personal life. Okay, so this is not something that we have to do. Okay, instead of harboring jealousy and envy in our mind, the Buddha teaches us practice the thoughts of mudita. Be happy on seeing other people's happiness. When you practice this, you will feel a big difference in your mind. Okay, and you will feel a big success in your personal life. So remember, mudita is the best medicine for the envy and jealousy in our mind. Namo Buddhaya. I know it is very difficult to forget the past memories. I know it is very difficult to forgive yourself for the things that you have done in the past. But at the end of our life, at the end of our day, what we all need is nothing but just the peace in our mind. But in order to find that peace, we need to let go of that past memory, let go of that things that hurt us. But how? Is there a way to find that peacefulness within our mind? Well, let's discuss about it in this video. If you look at the past memories, I heard this nice quote about the past memories. It says, thinking about and worrying about past is like dragging a boat on a dry land. Okay. Now, where we can use the boat, we can use it on water. But if you try to drag that boat onto dry land and take it with you to wherever you go, what will happen to you? It will become a burden to you. It will hurt you. It is so heavy. And there is no use in the same place, right? You cannot use the boat on the dry land. Okay? Holding on to past memories is also like that, right? There's no use of it, right? We're not letting that past memory to be in the correct place. We're taking it to wherever we go and every place that we go, and it will keep hurting us. So what we can do to forgive ourselves and let go of that past memory? Well, there are certain things that you can do. One of the most important things that you have to realize in this world is that not everything in this world is totally under our control. There are people around you, okay? There are things around you. There are certain things that is happening around you, but not everything, not every one of them is totally under your control, okay? We have to deal with it, but it is not out, it is out of our control. How people treat you, you cannot do anything about it. How people think about you, you have no control over it. How people talk to you, how people behave in front of you, the things that is happening in this environment, in the nature, there are things that is out of our control, okay? If we try and if you realize that this is the truth, okay, I cannot do anything about it, should I worry about them? Then you come to the conclusion that I don't want to worry about it because it is out of my range, okay? So this is one reality that you have to understand. The world is not totally under your control. Why? Because we are so busy in our life trying to control the things that are around ourselves that are out of our control. Okay? So realize that not everything is under your control. And the next thing that you have to do is, this might surprise you. Now, a lot of people are trying to forget the past memory. Okay? I would say, don't try to forget past memories. Okay? Don't try to do it. What will happen if you try to do it? The more you try to forget something, the more it will haunt your mind. Isn't that true? Just do it practically, right? Try to forget something, it will come back to your mind. Okay? I would say, rather than trying to forget the past memory, I would say, let it fade away from your life. Okay? Let it fade away. How to do it? Fading away is happening with time, okay? It takes time. It's something like healing a wound, okay? To heal a wound, it takes time, okay? So what we have to do is we have to give less attention to that memory, okay? Now, most of the time, what happens in us is when past memories haunt us, we give so much attention to it. We give so much awareness to it and think like, this is the biggest tragedy in my life. This is the biggest mistake that I have done in my life. Now my life is worse, okay? The more we give attention to something, it will grow. That is the nature of the mind. The Buddha said, the more you give attention to something, these kind of thoughts come again and again to your mind. So what we have to do is give less attention to it. But how? Okay. Now, so many of you say it is very easy for you to say that give less attention to it. But it is very difficult. I know it is very difficult. But there's one thing that we can do. We can identify that thought as a thought. Okay. Let's say these past memories, they are always the thoughts inside our mind. okay? And also there are certain good memories and happy memories. All of them are just thoughts, okay? The only difference between these hurtful memories, past memories, and the good memories is the way we look at that thought, okay? The perspective towards that thought. If we can identify, this is just a thought, there's no difference, okay? It will come to our mind and this will fade away and this will pass away with the time. So I must give some time to my mind to let my mind heal. When you do that, the past memories will start to fade away little by little. Why? Because you are giving less attention to it, okay? Then there will be a day that comes, then you come to a conclusion and you will realize that these past memories are no longer hurting you, okay? In my life, I had bad memories, okay? The reason why I'm telling this is because I've been in the same situation as you guys, okay? There was so many past bad memories and mistakes that I have done in the past, but when we give less attention to that, it will fade away, okay? Then you will be okay with those past memories. So that is what I have to share with you in this video. So just let your past memories fade away from your life. Learn from your past, learn from your tears, and let your tears water the seeds of your future success. Keep that in your mind. Namo Buddhaya.